the chapter, the chapter number 6, now which is the process of devotional service. But before I begin, as I have last time I've said, if some, I'll begin with some question answers if you all have. You are free to ask some questions if you want to ask on basis of whatever sessions we have done covered till now, or the last session that we covered. If anyone has question, you can raise your hand and you can go ahead and ask. Any raise of hands? Don't know if you have any questions. So, as I turn my camera in sometime, let my laptop is on. So, in this, we were discussing about the items of devotional service, and Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami actually is quoting 64 items of devotional service, and the first 10 are the do's, which is very important. And among those 10 also, the first 3 are most important. That is Guru Pada Ashraya, Krishna, Diksha, Sikshana, and then, inquiry from the spiritual master. And that inquiry also, we talked about each one of them, that how it should be, of what nature it should all be. What does it mean to accepting a spiritual master in one's life? That also we discussed. And then, we also discussed one thing that one has to practice these things, with body, mind, and soul, because now we made you read that spontaneous devotion service is not just done at a very high stage. It can be also done at the Vaidhi level, but that spontaneity is so different. Means when uh, of the natural spontaneous that we talk about. In this regard, it has been also said that spontaneity in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti comes if one applies one's body, mind, and words, all 3 things in the act of the devotional service. So, because the most toughest thing is to engage one's mind, and then the second thing, the most toughest thing is to engage is our speech, our words, and the easiest one is the body. So we begin with engaging our body in the devotion service. We begin with that, and then eventually we have been taught how to engage one's speech and eventually the mind in the devotional service of the Lord. So uh, now we will now read ahead something. I just joined. Here, else I won't be able to show. Give me a minute, bro. I'll just join from laptop. In between, if you some of you have the PDF of Nectar of Devotion, database, you can start sharing the screen and one of you can read it. Is it possible, Shantanu, if you have any one of you have database?
Just not to see. I mostly have it. I'm not able to do it while I'm recording. Somebody has it, Vedabase on their laptop. I'm not able to minimize Zoom while I'm recording.
Yeah.
I have that Rupa Goswami in that PDF.
No, not that video.
The main NOD, yeah. Let me try.
In online database, NOD is there. So that we will see.
I have the folio. Yeah, I could open the folio. Yeah, I'll open. Should I share, Guruji?
Yeah. Straight my yeah. Start sharing.
Yeah, just a minute. Let me know once this is visible.
Yeah, it's visible. So you
Okay.
can read from the first 10 items are done. Yeah. And no, begin from the previous paragraph, though, where the 11 to 20 items I mentioned, is 11th number to 20th.
Okay. Yeah.
Above, above.
This one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that,
there,
yes,
yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay. So, okay. So should I read from here, right?
Yes.
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 The next set of instructions is listed as follows. One should rigidly give up the company of non-devotees. One should not instruct a person who is not desirous of accepting devotional service. One should not be very enthusiastic about constructing costly temples or monasteries. One should not try to read too many books, nor should one develop to the idea of earning his livelihood by lecturing on or professionally reciting Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. One should not be neglectful in ordinary dealings. One should not be under the spell of lamentation in loss or jubilation in gain. One should not disrespect the demigods. One should not give unnecessary trouble to any living entity. One should carefully avoid the various offenses in chanting the holy name of the Lord or in worshipping the deity in the temple. One should be very intolerant toward the blasphemy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna or his devotees. Without following the above mentioned 10 principles, one cannot properly elevate himself to the platform of sadhana bhakti or devotional service in practice. Altogether, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions 20 items and all of them are very important. Out of the 20, the first three, namely accepting the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, taking initiation from him, and serving him with respect and reverence, are the most important.
Yeah, so we have read till now. The first three are very important because why? If you have the first three, naturally, everything else then follows. If you are if some devotee, as your disciple, is very, very loyal to his spiritual master, is very serious in his bhakti. Anyhow, the spiritual master teaches him everything, these things, through his vani or through his association of other senior devotees, disciples. So the first three are very important. First three, if somebody has, rest of thing will naturally follow. That is why it's been said among these 10, 20, the do's, the 10 don'ts, and the 10 do's. The first 10 are do's. No, the three are very prominent. So said like that. Now he will list the items of the 11, 21 to 44, and one of you can read through
Okay, I'll allot to
the
you.
next report.
Yes. Chandrabhushan Prabhu, can you read? This font
Yes,
is okay,
Guruji.
right? All right, to
Yes,
Zoom.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
right.
okay, yeah, fine.
The next important items are as follows. First, one should decorate the body with tilak, which is the sign of the Vaishnavas. The idea is that as soon as a person sees these marks on the body of the Vaishnava, he will immediately remember Krishna. Lord Chaitanya said that a Vaishnava is he who, when seen, reminds one of Krishna. Therefore, it is essential that a Vaishnava mark his body with tilak to remind others of Krishna. Second, in marking such tilak, sometimes one may write Hare Krishna on the body. Third, one should accept flowers and garlands that have been offered to the deity and the spiritual master and put them on one's body. Fourth, one should learn to dance before the deity. Fifth, one should learn to bow down immediately upon seeing the deity or the spiritual master. Sixth, as soon as one visits a temple of Lord Krishna, one must stand up. Seventh, When the deity is being borne for a stroll in the street, a devotee should immediately follow the procession. In this connection, it may be noted that in India, especially in Vishnu temples, the system is that apart from the big deity who is permanently situated in the main area of the temple, there is a set of smaller deities which are taken in procession in the evening. In some temples, it is the custom to hold a big procession in the evening with a band playing and a nice big umbrella over the deities who sit on the decorated thrones on the cart or palanquin, which is carried by the devotees. The deities come out onto the street and travel in the neighborhood, while the people of the neighborhood come out to offer prasad. The residents of the neighborhood all follow the procession. So it is a very nice scene. When the deity is coming out, the servitors in the temple put forward the daily accounts before them. So much was the collection, so much was the expenditure. The whole idea is that the deity is considered to be the proprietor of the whole establishment, and all the priests and other people taking care of the temple are considered to be the servants of the deity. This system is very, very old and is still followed. So, therefore, it is mentioned here that when the deity is on the stroll, the people should follow behind. 8. A devotee must visit a Vishnu temple at least once or twice every day, morning and evening. In Vrindavan, this system is followed very strictly. All the devotees All the devotees in town go every morning and evening to visit different temples. Therefore, during these times, there are considerable crowds all over the city. There are about 5,000 temples in Vrindavan city. Of course, it is not possible to visit all the temples, but there are at least 1 dozen very big and important temples which were started by the Goswamis and which should be visited. Ninth, one must circumambulate the temple building at least 3 times. In every temple, there is an arrangement to go around the temple at least 3 times. Some devotees go around more than 3 times, 10 times, 15 times, according to their vows. The Goswamis used to circumambulate Govardhan Hill. One should also circumambulate the whole Vrindavan area. 10th, one must worship the deity in the temple according to the regulatory principle, offering arti and prasad, decorating the deity, etc. These things must be observed regularly. 11th, one must render personal service to the deities. 12th, one must sing. 13th, one must perform Sankirtan. 14th, one must chant. 15th, one must offer prayers. 16th, one must recite notable prayers. 17th, one must taste Mahaprasad, food from the very plate offered before the deities. 18th, one must drink Charnamrit, water from the bathing of the deities, which is offered to guests. 19th, one must smell the incense and flowers offered to the deity. 20. One must touch the lotus feet of the deity.
Yeah. Wait, bro. So now we have read till the 20th one, and if you see the many of them are related to the deities. Uh, One and that is why, and actually, although we have Rupa Goswami, we properly quoted him, and the first three are important, and and among the 10 and among the 20 and the 20 are very important among the 64. But we should never think that, these are not so important, whether we do or not do. Surely it's been said that the first three are very important. The first 10 are very important. And the next 10 are also very important to save your bhakti. Uh, because we have to give up away the associations, which is not so proper, which is not so favorable. We have to give away some things. We have to renounce some things which are not favorable, although we may like it. These are important for saving one bhakti. The first 10 are very important for advancing in bhakti. And these now what has been said, now these I would say these are the supporting tool for our bhakti. Supporting tool, when I say, doesn't mean minimizing it, in a way that if somebody is doing for him, it becomes easier, because these things naturally make a person come in a mode of goodness and eventually to transcendence. Because very important things, as being quoted over here, about that one as soon as the deity is on a stroll, one should take a one should also follow behind the deity. And somehow when we somehow there's a tendency when we grow up in devotional life, I would say so-called grow up. One of the devotee was saying that we are senior because we have seen many years in Krishna consciousness. That doesn't make us senior, or but the tendency happens with that is that we take these things cheaply. Oh, procession is going on, like procession is going is for whom? Oh, it's for new feet people. They are very enthusiastic in dancing and chanting. Where I will be standing, I'll be standing very back. Or and that's for newcomer. That's not for me. So some people, some devotees maybe have a lot of intellectually background, intellectual thought. Intellectually they may be very enthusiastic to sit in the class, but not be very enthusiastic for these simple things like singing and dancing in front of the deities. Actually, bhakti requires intellectualism. I agree with it. That is very welcomable. Requires is a wrong word. If somebody has it, it's very welcomable. Intellectualism, but simplicity also has to be there. That he can simply appreciate these facts, appreciate these processes also, and follow in their life. So not that we become. So these are things, something which is very very vital in our devotional life, because if somebody does it, it's a very helpful thing for them. Uh, where up to it goes that marking the tilak, sometimes one may write Hare Krishna on the body. Surely, it is we much don't practice because it is not something which is necessarily to be done. That is why these set of items which we are reading now, from 21 to next to 64, 21 to up ahead and onwards we are reading. These are surely an optional thing, which may we have according to time, place, circumstance, it may vary. Like we may put tilak when we are when all of you, those who are working, you may put tilak when you are in. We may not. You put tilak when you are in association or devotee, when you come into temple or something like that. But you may go for your professional work, you may not put tilak. So that is why these items are considered to be as okay. Depends on a devotee. Uh, so same way, writing Hare Krishna on the body, it is not a mandate. It should be done in a very passionate way, like a tattoo. It has to be done in a sober way. Soberly done is well and fine. It's well taken. I hope you understand what soberly means, in this regard. And you know, and putting garland and accepting flower garlands. Sometimes devotees, because we are not habituated to accept garland. So some people feel a shame also that, oh, what people will say if I'm wearing a garland and I'm going out. They may wear the garland within the temple, that's fine, but when they used to go out, they may feel, thoda ye. Some people, some were devotees, I'm saying, not everyone. They will, I'm odd man out or what. But no, one has to remember that these are devotional items. Should not be done for showing off also, and should not be not accepted out of feeling shame also. It should be accepted out of understanding it's item of devotional service. We have to be very 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 grateful for having awarded the flower, the garland which has been offered to the deity and to the spiritual master. And Prabhupada says one should learn to one should learn to dance before the deity. That's actually I have gone once to you know some of you might have gone. I have gone once to Surat to attend His Holiness Bhakti Shastri Maharaj Vyas Puja when Maharaj was here personally, physically on this planet. So I was very amazed because the dancing was so beautiful. They were dancing in a very patterned way, and they were making many gestures also, and while dancing. Probably they were very much trained in by Maharaj himself. Because as the tune was changing, their gestures was also changing. So one should learn. And, that's a very good way. That's to learn to dance, and one should not hesitate in dancing. We may not feel such ecstasy like what we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We may not feel that ecstasy what we feel in what we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya dancing up and down, going up and down and like that. That okay, that may not be, but one has to know that whether we feel good or not, it's not about that. Devotional service is not about whether what we feel. Devotional service is about thinking about the pleasure of the Lord and acting. So we dance for His pleasure, we chant for His pleasure, you know we we perform sankirtan for His pleasure, we sing for His pleasure. So no, we given an opportunity, we should sing, and uh, and even if not given an opportunity, then also we should sing. Where we can sing? Oh, you can sing at so many places. Individually, every time you can sing. Right now, in bathroom, people people can sing. Doing any other activity while driving, if some people want to sing, they can sing. Singing should be done. And why? Because singing, because it's a pleasurable activity, not for one oneself, for Krishna. So, circumambulating the deity's purpose is that some people three times, some people many times, some Vaishnavas many times, according to their vow. So these are very simple items which we, which may, when we are in association, we may perform it. When we are not in association, even the opportunity been given, we may not be doing it. So uh, that's kind of a thing that one has to overcome it. Voluntarily, one should do it. Not that because when you come in morning program in a temple, circumambulation is a part of a morning program, so we do it. And but if you are coming like that, not in a morning program, then also we can circumambulate the deities. And what circumambulating the deities means what? Keeping them in the center of our life. And while circumambulating, we should remember the glories of the Lord, the glories of Radha Vrindavan Chandra, God Nitai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, and circumambulating, and making them as a center of our life. So these devotional activities when we are performing with keeping the process in them, and the reason why we are performing in the mind, and we are doing it cautiously, consciously, and consciously also both. So then actually it creates a deep impact. It creates an impact on our mind also. It becomes sober. It it is a good way to get rid of tada rajas tamo bhava. Kama lobha dayasya. Chetar etar anaviddham. Sitam sattve prasidati. So that's the way. That's the way to so rising up respectfully when the deities are coming, or even even great Vaishnavas are coming. So all these items are there. We have read till 20th item, right? That means till 40th we have read 40 items, right? 21st and 20 now, right? Am I right? No.
Yes, sir. 20th we have read. 21st we have to.
Means 20 before and now 20.
Yes, yes, correct, correct.
Right. So 40 we have read. So there are many things into over here eating Mahaprasadam. And I would say now one question may come to you. Over here in the 14th item, it is that one must chant. And amazing, and in each of these, in each of these items, Prabhupada has used the word must. But Prabhupada has not given an option to us. If you carefully read it, you would have noted it down that it is a must, 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 must is like Prabhupada has applied it. Because to the degree one is passionate and ignorant, to that degree, these are very, very important too. So now over here, one proper is saying about one must chant, one must perform Sankirtan. Surely, you know, it doesn't mean that the chanting is like what we said. 20 के बाद वाला item is a according time plus circumstance. Doesn't mean that chanting is a time plus circumstance situation. Thing. Uh, One must chant, because why? Because we have given a vow now. We have given a vow to the spiritual master that I will chant. So that comes in the instruction of following the instructions of the spiritual master. Uh, that is now no more just one of the items of devotion service for us. Uh, and one must perform Sankirtan. So I, I know one must recite notable prayers. One must taste Mahaprasadam. Surely it has to be done. But when it comes to chanting, I'm very clear. It is not just one of the items of devotional service. These are the first three items of devotional service. Comes into that category. Um, and offering, one must smell the incense and the flower offered to the deity. If you are carefully read it down, it's very clear that Rupa Goswami doesn't want us to be lazy in performance of devotional service. Small things. Also, if you have to go and stand in a queue to offer to get incense. होता है ना तुलसी आरती के बाद there's a we go and after doing Yani Gandhi Sabapani we have to go and get the lamp which has been offered to the Tulsi Maharaj in the flower and the Narasimha offered the incense which has been the fragrance which has been offered in Narasimha Aarti. So we have to go and stand in the queue. We should go and stand in the queue. Or also I would say now when Guru Puja is going on Saturday Sunday huge queue is there for accepting Charanamrit and getting applause and offering to the Prabhupada. At least one should not be lazy. One may do it later on. That's not a problem, because he wants to attend. But one should not be lazy in these things. That is not intelligence. We accept lazy intelligence, but we don't accept laziness. that should be. So said like that. Uh, so here in this uh, in these items which has been actually Rupa Goswami quotes in one shloka itself, all the 44 items over here which has been mentioned, and he he says very clearly that uh, he says very clearly that one should uh, one should avoid one should avoid seva aparad uh, while performing these devotional service. Specifically, seva aparad uh, in terms of uh, worshipping the deity. And so these all items are related to the deity. Worshipping the deity does not just means offering arti to the deity is worshipping. And worshipping the deity happens inside the altar. Worshipping of the deity happens outside the altar also. Not that only those who are inside the altar they are only worshipping the deities, and when you are outside the altar, you are not worshipping the deities. Worshipping the deity means what? You know, I want to hear from you. What do you feel? What does it mean worshipping the deities? What it signifies? What is the main principle behind of worshipping the deity? Can anyone say? Just an open to you all.
So we can say that Lord is the always supreme commander of the and we are the always servant of God.
Okay, identifying that he's a master with a servant. Okay, somebody else. Haripol, what does it mean? No answers. Anybody? It is a recognition of this principle. What the Prabhu was saying, that we are servant, he is a master. Worshipping the deity means offering him back everything which we possess. Worshipping the deity also means recognizing that he is the bhokta, he is the enjoyer, and I am to be enjoyed. Worshipping the deity means giving pleasure to the deities. So it is not just an act which is done inside the being while inside the altar. It's an act which is also being done now from outside the altar. When we are singing, we are dancing, we are even honoring Mahaprasadam. You know, it has to be. It is an activity of actually worshipping the deity in the sense that we are recognizing his mastership. We are not we are not eating Kali's Mahaprasadam. We are not going to eat Shivaji's Mahaprasadam. No inner demigod. We are just we are interested in only honoring Krishna Mahaprasad, right? So it's a very clear recognition that we are trying to recognize the supremacy of the Lord, and we being his servant. We are ready to, and who's actually Mahaprasad is what? One way, it's a transcendental juta of the Lord, right? So who will eat the juta? One who is a servant. And that's what happens. That's what is the meaning. So but it's transcendental. So it is act of it's an act of actually giving pleasure to the deities, accepting him as a master, accepting him as an enjoyer. So that act can be done even outside the altar. Uh, Offering obeisances, by the way, you can't offer obeisances inside the altar. You can't go inside the altar and pay full dandot pranam, and other pujaris will make you out. That's not allowed. You have to pay. You can pay only obeisances outside the altar, right? So it depends on how much fine tuning of our consciousness we are, we are trying to make it. Uh, and these all processes of devotional service, items of devotional service, which is given by Rupa Goswami, is for making that happen. Fine tuning of our consciousness, fine tuning of our consciousness for serving the Lord, for His pleasure. So, like as with Osman said, one should not talk very loudly in front of the deity, because he is the because when you go in front of the deity, he has to be attended. He has to be kept in the prime uh, in the prime. I would say, no, primarily he's a main man. You are not to talk among ourselves. He should be the center. He should be the attraction. And I also been said that one should not go into the temple with overly gorgeously, very attractively dressed way. Why? Because one should not try to attract the attention of the people towards themselves, but towards the Lord. So this is also one of them. Although we have heard that uh, so there are different principles which is there. It's all for this one reason, that we fine tune our consciousness while serving the Lord and avoiding seva aparadha. Surely nama aparadha also. So we'll go and read now ahead, one of you.
Deepak Sutar bro.
21st, one must see the deity with great devotion. 22nd, one must offer aratika at different times. One must hear about the Lord and his pastimes from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and similar books. One must pray to the deity for his mercy. 25th, one should remember the deity. 26th, one should meditate upon the deity. 27, one should render some voluntary service. 28, one should think of the Lord as one's friend. 29, one should offer everything to the Lord. 30, one should offer a favorite article such as food or a garment. 31st, one should take all kind of risk and perform all endeavors for Krishna's benefit. 32, in every condition, one should be a surrendered soul. 33, one should pour water on their tulsi tree. 34th, one should regularly hear Srimad Bhagavatam and similar literature. 35, one should live in a sacred place like Mathura, Vrindavan, or Dwarka. 36, one should offer service to Vaishnavas, devotees. 37, one should arrange one's devotional service according to one's means. 38, in the month of Kartik, October and November, one should make arrangements for special services. 39, during Janmashtami, the time of Krishna's appearance in this world, one should observe a special service. 40, one should do whatever is done with great care and devotion for the deity. 41, one should relish the pleasure of Bhagavatam reading among devotees and not among outsiders. 42, one should associate with devotees who are considered more advanced. 43, one should chant the holy name of the Lord. And 44, one should live in a jurisdiction of Mathura.
Yeah, these things which I mentioned, that one must chant the name of the Lord, and Upar Gita one must chant the one must chant the name. Now there's a difference in these. No, these are not the same. Which it's not. Uh, so the last. Sorry. The last five that you are reading actually, you know, is a repetition. Is kind of a repetition because especially from 60 onwards, the worshipping the feet of the deity with great devotion and the Srimad Bhagavatam, that's a very good. These are very good important. Srimad Bhagavatam, reading it, it's been said that the words. If I can show you, you'll be amazed. Uh, the verse says, you try to hear. If I can show it as well.
I'll stop
Mhm.
sharing, Guruji.
No, you can stop sharing. Let me share. Please let's share. Mhm. Yeah, I was getting shared. So he says, I'll show you. Is visible?
Get Guruji. It's coming up black screen but not loading.
My system is on. Yeah, it's got shared, right? No?
No, Guruji.
Shared?
Not yet. I think your network bandwidth is low.
Maybe
Now,
the
yes. Now, yes, Guruji. Now it is coming.
ठीक
Yeah.
ना या
Yep.
अभी ये पढ़ो तो आपको देखेगा the last six the last five are what I'm showing you now. See, ऊर्जा दरो विशेष यत्र जन्मा जन्मादीना आदिषु ये तो ठीक है observing the month of ऊर्जा and specifically and specially respecting the adamant day of janma adina adishu, especially as respecting the adamant day of Krishna. And then it says what? So this Shraddha Visheshatah Priti Shri Murte Angri Sevane. Shraddha Purvak one has to Shraddha Visheshatah Priti. Not normal Priti. Right? Na? If you are worshipping the feet of the deity with great faith and devotion, that's a special Shraddha. So said like that, now he says over here, which I want to show you. See, uh, Srimad Bhagavata, Srimad Bhagavata Arthanama Swado Rasikah Saha Sajati Yasya Snigde Sadhu Sango Satovare. Now these are details, bro. It's just not reading, reciting Bhagavatam. You can say what? Prabhupada has written that Bhagavatam and other literature is based on Bhagavatam. That was well and fine. But what I want to say, show you over here, tasting the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavata Artha, right? This word Artha. No, Artha Nama Swado Rasikah Saha. अकेले नहीं बैठ के tasting Srimad Bhagavatam, not just reading Bhagavatam. Swado, you have to taste Bhagavatam. You know? In the company of devotees, Swad Rasikah Saha. Those who are other Rasik, they are very, like, people are very Rasik. Some people are very Rasik for mango juice. they can, they're Rasik. They will say, one, no, why two, one glass, two glass, why two glass, give three glass. They had never bored of it. Like that, in the company of such a devotee, one has to taste Srimad Bhagavatam. And then what has been said? Sajatiya yasna snigde sadhu sango satovare, keeping the company with great saints who are like-minded and affectionate. Affectionate to you, and they're like-minded. Like-minded. I hope you all are very grown-up Vaishnavas, but I'm just saying like-minded never means that I like to do Prajalpa, he also likes to do Prajalpa, so we are snigdha. No, not like that. No, it doesn't mean that, oh, I like to talk about some other things. And he also likes to talk about something apart from, or I also don't like that Vaishnava. He also doesn't like that same Vaishnava. So we talk about ill about that third Vaishnava. So we are snigdha. No, that doesn't mean like-minded. Like-minded is meaning that you have a same taste, um, you know, like, see, if you want to see acharyas also, Vishnu Shakti Thakur is one kind of a Rasika Bhakta. He's known as a Rasika Acharya. His commentaries are very different. Jeev Goswami, his commentaries are a bit of a scholarly approach, plus Rasika, plus having sweetness. So so these kind of Rasika scholars, these kind of scholars snigdha, kind of thing, like-minded. Or you may like preaching and he may also like preaching. You may like book distribution. He may like also book distribution. In our terms, this is also snigdha. Snigdha sangha satovare. So, keep me with such great saints. That this has been said, Nama Sankirtanam Sri Mathura Mandalasti. Congregation glorification of Krishna's name residing in Mathura. So now these, what we are reciting, from the 59th onwards, or from the 60 onwards, probably, this Shraddha Visheshata Priti Sri Murte Angri Sevane, and tasting the meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam, and keeping the company with the great saints, congregation glorification of Krishna Nam Sankirtanam, and Sri Mathura Mandala City. These are already been repeated before also. But over here, back again, the last time he is repeating these five. No, Archa Vigraha Seva, Bhagavatam Pathan, Sadhu Sangha, chanting the holy names of the Lord, and reciting Mathura. Now these becomes the very prominent. Why there is a repetition over here is been said. Angam Panchakas Yasya Purvam Viliktasya cha Nikhila Sarishti Avadhoya avadhaya punar api atra kirtanam. One of you read, although.
Although the
Although,
last should I
continue,
read?
continue. Yeah, continue.
Although the last five items were already mentioned, they are mentioned again to glorify their paramount position among all the items.
Yeah. So this means said that among all the items, this is when this is a repetitive right now. So these are the means of worshiping through. These are the means of worship through the bodily senses. As I said at the so then among these 64, some may be classified as group activity and some as the solitary activities. Like circumambulation is a solitary activity. Chanting is a solitary activity. Sankirtan is a group activity. Uh, then, uh, uh, you know, accepting the spiritual master is an individual activity. Getting initiated is an individual activity. It's not a group activity. Uh, Maybe given a group doesn't mean it becomes a group activity. So like that has been over here has been said. So I'll just now whatever is remaining, we'll read that of Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. I'm sorry, NOD, and then I want to show you something extra. There's not much explanation given by even acharyas in these regard. Hare Krishna. When I read Bhagavad Gita, what is this? Whose wisdom I? Yeah, so you can read now this book, what is being shown over here.
It's coming up, Ruja. It's loading.
Wait. I'm sharing the wrong file. Okay, and whatever is remaining, one of you can read in that NOD itself. Prabhupada's NOD, just one or two paragraphs.
Yeah, so should I share again?
Yeah, you can share. Zero, so, okay. Yes, read, bro.
Dhairyavan Ram Prabhu.
Yes, bro. Now, the total regulative principles come to an aggregate of 64 items. As you have mentioned, the first are the primary 10 regulative principles. Then come the secondary 10 regulative principles, and added to these are 44 other activities. So, altogether, there are 64 items for discharging the regulative practice of devotional service. Out of these 64 items, 5 items, namely worshipping the deity, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating among the devotees, Sankirtan, and living in Mathura, are very important. The 64 items of devotional service should include all of our activities of body, mind, and speech. As stated in the beginning, the regulative principle of devotional service enjoins that all of our senses must be employed in the service of the Lord. Exactly how they can be thus employed is described in the above 64 items. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami will give evidence from different scriptures supporting the authenticity of many of these points.
Yeah, so he now is going to quote about that. So Prabhupada over here is, no, you read over here that these activities, 64 items, should include all of our activities of body, mind, and speech. Means it has to be done, with all these three things. The body also, the mind also, one. And I really say that one struggle of including the mind in this devotion activity should begin. I'm saying the word struggle to include the mind within the activity should begin. Now I hope many of you have practiced many years. So it's very important that Hare Krishna. Am I audible, bro?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu, you are audible.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, you are audible, Prabhu.
Well, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Am I audible to you all?
Yes,
Ah,
Roshi.
okay, thank you. Okay. So, it will take my time to, it will take times to switch on my camera, but please, I'll show you something now. You read from there. Oh. No, better. I'm just reading it. Please carefully hear it. Uh, so said now we have seen, we have heard about, what how these has to be practiced. Uh, but there's a very important thing which is also has to be known, so that the simplicity of this devotional activity should not should no we should not take it cheaply. Uh, it's very simple. Now, devotion is what it requires. Even a baby can do it. Uh, like has been said, circumambulating the deity, even a baby can do it. Singing is not been said that one has to sing with you know one has to sing with a lot of sur and tal. It's not been said. Whatever he knows, he can sing with that. So the process of devotional service becomes very easy over here, and looks very easy, but that should not make us take it cheaply. So so here, please read one of you what kind of regulative devotion. Read over here. Devotees are often.
Devotees are often confused about the role regulative devotional service plays in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan mission. The mission meant to bless souls with the spontaneous devotion experienced by the Vrajvasis. Sometimes neophytes reject regulative devotional service and artificially take up the practice of spontaneous service, creating havoc in ISKCON and in their own spiritual lives. Other times, devotees reject Vraja Bhakti, hoping that by the regulative practices they will attain one of the innumerable Vaikuntha planets. Both these types of devotees support their behavior by citing the following verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah, so what's the verse? Quotes this verse. Aishwarya Gyane Vidhi Bhajan Kariya Vaikuntha Ake Yaya Chatur Vidha Mukti Paya. Yeah, read.
By performing such regulated devotional service in awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and attain the four kinds of liberation.
This is a very often quoted verse by those devotees who would say that if by following these, regulative devotion service, uh, eh, at most there's no spontaneity in that. What we will achieve is maximum Vaikuntha, but we are looking for Goloka. Goloka one, this means fully spontaneous devotional services to be required, you know, and these are not something, to be see whether how Mother Yashoda, हमने सुना भी है ये भजन, अ, कौन कहता है भगवान खाते नहीं माँ यशोदा की तरह खिलाते नहीं like that kind of a thing. So the Lord is not going to eat just by your mudras and all those processes. It is not an hard and fast rule. So the Lord is more Bhagwan. क्या भी बोलते हैं, the many shlokas have been quoted like that. Also been said that patram pushpam phalam toyam yama bhakta prakshati. Preeti. Over there the preeti is word is very important. So no, these doesn't. So it doesn't require to be so much of following. Like just give me an example. Like in like in many in one of the sampradayas, I don't know very clearly about it, but I have observed the current situation over there because we were in one of the we had gone somewhere. We have to stay in that temple. It's a Krishna deities, Krishna Balaram deities were there. So there was one pujari, and in that the temple, the altar opens up at I'm saying right now in the winter time it opens up at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. the altar opens. Why? ठंड है, ठंड है, भगवान को ठंड लगेगा, भगवान लाला है, बच्चे हैं, है ना, तो सुबह सुबह नहीं उठाना चाहिए, माँ यशोदा नहीं उठाती थी. Now, so they have that feeling, and we are nowhere to comment on that. But surely I can comment on that. Oh, the Lord can wake up at 8 o'clock, he can wake up at 10 o'clock also, but we as a devotee should wake up early. Right. So, but these two category of devotees will be mentioned over here by Maharaj, in his writing this particular article which I am showing you. And people who feel that, Vraj Bhakti, I'll, you know, I'll, devotee reject, but hoping that their regulative practices, they will attain one of the innumerable Vaikuntha planets. So actually, these Vaishnavas who somehow get, carried away by some trick of Maya, they don't practice the regulative devotional service very properly. Now, and they quote these verses that, what I quoted right now. So now read over here what he says. This verse appears in the
This verse appears in the section of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that describes Krishna's expansions and the external reason for the Lord's descent. The destination and types of liberation mentioned here appear inconsistent with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ultimate mission, which is to return to Golok Vrindavan by imbibing the service mood of the Vrajavasis. When the devotees read this verse, therefore, they either reject regulative practice, thinking it irrelevant to Vraja Bhakti, or they think that Vraja Bhakti is for others, not for those who tread the path of regulative service. It is important, therefore, to reconcile how Lord Chaitanya's followers can go to Golok Vrindavan by practicing regulative devotional service.
that is why I am making you read this. That we should know whatever Prabhupada has given us is given by Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya came to give us, Golokera Premadhan. That is also Harinam Sankirtan. He has given us that. If we follow that, we will attain it. Depends on to what degree we follow it. So now he writes ahead that, see, Aradhya Bhagavan Rajesh Tanya and all been said. Okay, read the essence of the solution lies in the.
The essence of the solution lies in the proper understanding of the mood with which devotees of Lord Chaitanya take up regulative devotional service. That mood has two aspects. The first is that Sham Sundar of Vrindavan is the devotee's worshipable deity, Ishtadev. They do not worship any other form of Godhead. The second is faith that following the loving mood of the inhabitants of Vrindavan is the way to achieve Sham Sundar. This mood is expressed in the verse of Chaitanya Manjusha, beginning with Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayas Taddham Vrindavanam. Regulative practice with these 2 points in mind leads to spontaneous practice and to Vraja. Srila Prabhupada states that devotional service performed under the devotional service under the
Yeah.
regulative under performed under the regulative principles helps devotees rise to the stage of raga bhakti.
So
Bhagavatam
these two
3.5.1.
components, these two components, that we worship the Lord, then of Vrindavan, and Prabhupada said Balaji also as Balakrishna, so don't get into that zone. Um, you know, don't think बालाजी के दर्शन लेने से क्या फायदा होगा. You know, that kind of is kind of a very uh, childish way of speaking. Uh, so over here it's been said we worship the Lord. Now what the worship these are the Lord Radha Chandra is our worshipful deity, and you know and a faith in the following the loving mood. So we have to follow these all 64 items of devotional service with a loving mood and with a correct understanding that is for the pleasure of the Lord. I am dancing for the pleasure of the Lord. I am singing for the pleasure of the Lord. I am paying obeisances, for it has to be an act which the Lord likes it. Means one has to apply one's body, mind, and speech into it. So then it becomes an activity when in such a way it is done. Then a service which is performed under the regulative principle helps the devotee rise to the stage of raga bhakti. uh. So one should not think that one should straight jump into that process, which is maybe propagated by some sampradayas. But we have to know that we are not going to fall, we are not going to get anything short, apart from Golok Vrindavan, if we very properly follow the regulative principles given by Lord Chaitanya and his followers Rupa Goswami and to us by Prabhupada. Rigidly, no one has to follow that. Rigidly with heart. Rigidly doesn't mean like a stone. Rigid means, you know, uh, I must follow it. And the attitude of the following should be with heart. So, uh, externally, read one of you, externally, the regulative.
Externally, the regulative devotion of Lord Chaitanya's followers may bear the same name and appearance as Vaikuntha Vaidhi Bhakti, but the two are set apart by constraining moods and goals. Srila Prabhupada, who set his followers on the path of regulative devotion, confirms the above conclusions. Regarding your second question, what determines whether a devotee goes to a Vaikuntha planet or to Golok Vrindavan? Those devotees who are following Vidhi Marga are meant for going to Vaikuntha planet, and those who are following Raga Marga are meant for going to Krishna Lok. It is generally accepted that the followers of Lord Chaitanya are going to Golok Vrindavan. Letter to
So
Tamal
Maharaj
Krishna.
Maharaj is quoting this letter letter of Prabhupada to Tamal Krishna. And the last line is very important. It is generally accepted that followers of Lord Chaitanya are going to Golok Vrindavan, although they follow. So devotees often question the role of Vaikuntha devotee having in the Sankirtan movement. What is their destination? What is their relationship with Krishna, with Lord Chaitanya, and with their Ishtadev, one of the Lord's worshipful expansion? So now he gives that answer, but the very important thing in this is this Sankirtan movement. And one who participates in the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya in a proper attitude, and he maybe just be following a regulative devotional service. If he follows with heart and engages himself in the Sankirtan movement, he attracts the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And that is how he attains Goloka. So that's that. Ahead it will be written. It is no much time. So uh, and this is something very important for us. We should never get into any confusion. Uh, Maybe proposed by any other Vaishnava Sampradaya or any other devotee who might not be not might be not so knowledgeable or not have read properly our our books, Prabhupada books and and these kind of books which I just showed you. So they may get hail while they may get here there, or we may get appreciation by hearing seeing some other like I said to you the example of that temple. you know they were very innocent devotees. They were very good, but I could figure it out that there's a lot of uh, They have the nature is there seems to be the practice seems to be spontaneous nature, but the basic practice is very hollow. So that will not help much. If so, we have to know that we have been given a process, and rigidly we should follow it, and with body, mind, and speech, we will get the result for sure, because it's a message, it's a method, described to us, given to us by Lord Chaitanya. No, he gave it to Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami wrote and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Prabhupada is now has written the summary study of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as Nectar of Devotion, and he has awarded us that. And the amazing thing that if you come in morning, if you are part of a morning program in a group, you cover a most of it. And only thing what is required in voice setup, anyhow you do it. Only one thing is required, that we put our mind into it. That's the only thing. Else there will be no more friction. Anyway, I end over here. Uh, Thank you very much. Any question का time नहीं है. But one question I can take if you have. If one of you have. What do you all? If
Hare
it's
Krishna,
not there,
Prabhu.
then it's well and fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for wonderful program. So I have one question
Loud enough
regarding
थोड़ा सा.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I have one question regarding your last point. You are able to hear me?
Uh-huh. Yes.
So I have one question regarding your last point, Prabhu. In the middle of the class also you told this point again and again that we have to be follow rigidly principles, those things. And you give some examples regarding that one of the center, not center, I think one of the temple were big up at 8 o'clock.
No,
And
not ISKCON temple, huh? Clear. It's a different temple.
yeah, different temple because they are doing spontaneous devotional service. So accordingly,
Yeah.
whatever they think, accordingly they are doing devotional service. So, but we find out too that many places, this is not hard and in spontaneous devotional service, there is no hard and fast rule. Based on the situation, circumstances, we have to be do devotional service. That I think the meaning of the spontaneous devotional service. No? For example, somewhere maybe waking late and doing devotional service very loosely, and but sometimes we find out some temples they are having
No. Sorry.
very tight.
Spontaneous devotional service is not loose. No, it's not loose. That's it's been spontaneous and natural, which when it's a raga bhakti, you perform everything, but with with love. Sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, you follow out of fear of disobeying the spiritual master and not following the scripture. Over there, they perform all these things, but without this fear. They like to do it. So what example I gave to 8 o'clock, already that has been there in that sampradaya. No,
So
that's a
that is
different
not
thing.
how to understand in this type of situation where we find out in spontaneous devotional service, one will be there doing in a different manner, and somewhere very tight devotional service will be there, and somewhere they have a natural inclination. They will do according to time circumstances. So how we can inspire from spontaneous devotional service? Which example we have to take, and which example we does not have to take as a sadhana?
I would say, no, I would say very clearly, as Prabhupada has said, the word it will come in this rigid practitioner of a regulative devotional service we have to become, and that rigid practitioner only gets a success. But in that rigidity, we have to also add, try to add our mind into it, right? No? That's the way of the success. Uh, Rigid practice is the way for success. For us, at least, I am very clear. Because this line will come. We don't have time. Didn't show you in this article only. It comes down. That is rigid practitioner. Now, what others they may be thoda chalta hai, and that's up to them. But Surely it depends on time, place, and circumstance also. But rigid means giving our best to it. That's the meaning, according to I would say. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yes. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.